One man ruled a land 76 times the size of his country. His greed cost an estimated 10 million lives. This is the terrifying legacy of King Leopold II, and how Belgium's thirst for rubber left a trail of blood that still stains Congo today. Please like, subscribe the Turkish Odyssey. It's free to subscribe and essential for our existence. Please hit the notification bell for our future videos. Let's go back to our fantastic story. The name Congo evokes a complex history, often overshadowed by its present-day struggles. Yet, beneath the surface lies a past of unimaginable horror, etched into the very fabric of a nation. This is the story of King Leopold II's brutal reign over the Congo Free State. It was a period marked by systematic genocide and relentless exploitation. This devastation was driven by an insatiable global demand for rubber, a commodity that fueled the Industrial Revolution. The consequences of Leopold's rule were immediate and devastating, leaving an indelible scar on humanity. In 1885, at the infamous Berlin Conference, King Leopold II of Belgium was granted personal control over a vast territory in Central Africa. He presented himself to the world as a benevolent ruler, promising to bring civilization and Christianity to the region. His true intentions, however, were far more sinister. Leopold established a regime built on forced labor and terror. His primary purpose was the ruthless extraction of rubber, a resource crucial for the burgeoning industrial age. The demand for bicycle tires, automobile parts, and electrical insulation created immense pressure. To enforce his will, Leopold created the Force Publique, his private army. This brutal force was tasked with ensuring that impossible rubber quotas were met by the Congolese population. Failure to comply resulted in horrific punishments. These included widespread amputation and mass killings. The hands of men, women, and children were severed as proof of their punishment or as a demonstration of the Force Publique's efficiency. The American missionary George Washington Williams was among the first to expose these atrocities. He described Leopold's actions as a crime against humanity, a stark condemnation of the king's barbarity. This private empire, masquerading as a humanitarian mission, became a death trap for millions. The world, for too long, remained silent. The human cost of Leopold's reign is almost incomprehensible. It is estimated that between 1885 and 1908, approximately 10 million Congolese perished. This staggering death toll resulted from starvation, disease, and brutal executions. Workers were subjected to horrific conditions, often chained and whipped. They were forced to meet impossible quotas, laboring under constant threat of violence. The cutting off of hands served as gruesome proof of punishment, a macabre accounting system. This barbaric practice often led to the annihilation of entire villages. Communities were decimated, their populations either killed or scattered in the desperate search for survival. The land itself became a silent witness to unspeakable suffering. Meanwhile, the immense wealth generated from this exploitation flowed directly into Belgium. It funded lavish palaces, grand museums, and impressive monuments across the European nation. The stark contrast between the suffering in the Congo and the opulence in Belgium was undeniable. It was famously said that the streets of Brussels were paved with Congolese blood. This chilling phrase encapsulates the moral bankruptcy of Leopold's enterprise. The prosperity of one nation was built upon the genocide of another. The exploitation in the Congo was not confined to Leopold's personal coffers. International companies, such as the Anglo-Belgian India Rubber Company, also profited immensely from Congolese rubber. This fueled industrial growth across Europe, connecting distant economies to the suffering in Central Africa. The scale of the atrocities eventually became too great to ignore. International pressure mounted, forcing Leopold to cede control of the Congo to the Belgian state in 1908. This transfer, however, did not end the exploitation. Under Belgian state colonial rule, the exploitation continued, albeit with a different administrative structure. Belgium maintained tight control over Congo's vast natural resources. These included copper, uranium, diamonds, and cobalt, all vital for global industry. The Shinkalabwe mine in Congo, for instance, became a crucial source of uranium. This uranium was later used in the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Congo's resources continued to fuel global power dynamics, often at immense human cost. The colonial legacy ensured that Congo remained a resource-rich nation with an impoverished population. Its wealth was systematically extracted, leaving little for its own development. This pattern of exploitation would persist long after formal independence. Congo's independence in 1960 was not a clean break from its colonial past. Instead, it ushered in a period of profound instability and external interference. The nation struggled to assert its sovereignty in the face of lingering colonial interests. Patrice Lumumba, Congo's first democratically elected prime minister, sought to reclaim his nation's resources for its people. His vision for an independent and prosperous Congo was tragically cut short. He was assassinated in 1961. Allegations of Belgian and CIA involvement in his death persist to this day. Lumumba's assassination deprived Congo of a unifying leader and plunged the nation into decades of political turmoil. The shadow of foreign intervention loomed large. Today, the exploitation of Congo's resources continues, albeit in new forms. The nation holds the world's largest reserves of cobalt, a critical component for modern technologies. Cobalt is essential for electric car batteries, smartphones, and other electronic devices. However, much of this cobalt mining occurs under unsafe conditions, often involving child labor. The cycle of resource extraction, human rights abuses, and environmental degradation persists. The legacy of Leopold's rubber empire echoes in the present. The wealth generated from these minerals rarely benefits the Congolese people. Instead, it often fuels conflict and corruption, perpetuating a cycle of poverty and instability. The global demand for these resources continues to drive exploitation. The history of Belgium's rule in the Congo is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked greed and colonial ambition. It is a story of genocide, exploitation, and profound human suffering. This dark chapter demands a full and honest reckoning. For too long, the atrocities committed in the Congo were downplayed or ignored. The statues of Leopold II still stand in Belgium, a painful symbol of an unaddressed past. There is a growing call for these symbols to be recontextualized or removed. The descendants of the victims continue to live with the intergenerational trauma of this period. Their voices must be heard, and their suffering acknowledged. True reconciliation requires a deep understanding of historical injustices. This includes demands for reparations, not just symbolic gestures. The wealth extracted from the Congo built much of modern Belgium. Justice demands that this historical debt be addressed in tangible ways. The ongoing exploitation of Congo's resources highlights the enduring nature of colonial patterns. The global community has a responsibility to ensure ethical sourcing and fair trade practices. This means holding corporations and governments accountable. The story of Congo is not just a historical footnote, it is a living testament to the enduring impact of colonialism. It serves as a powerful lesson on the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of human dignity. Understanding this history is crucial for shaping a more just future. It compels us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, wealth, and responsibility. The legacy of Belgium's bloody empire demands our continued attention and action. The silence surrounding these atrocities must be broken. The voices of the victims must finally be heard. Only then can we begin to heal the wounds of the past and work towards a truly equitable world. King Leopold is gone. But the chains he forged remain. Belgium's empire may have fallen, but the prophets didn't. The world's most precious technologies are still built on Congolese suffering. Subscribe to uncover the hidden history of colonialism. Up next, France in West Africa, gold, francs, and control. Thank you for watching. See you in the next adventure.